Hi, it's me, Jacqueline. Welcome to my channel. If you are new to the channel, then please subscribe to my channel and join me at Patreon. Link in the description. Georgie went in her handbag and took out an expensive-looking purse. She selected a credit card with which to pay the bill. She looked along the line to Miss Roberts to indicate that the meal was at an end. No more talk of horrible interviews then. Right, I reckon it's time to head back and Sally and I can have our little chat. Miss Roberts nodded in agreement. She turned to Cindy. Cindy, I'll give you a lift home if you like. Cindy nodded and turned to me to offer a farewell hug. Take care, Sally. I can't wait to see you on Saturday. She hugged me and gave me a peck on the cheek. Both her and Miss Roberts left the rest of us to return to Laura's flat. The bill settled, we followed Georgie out to her car. She opened the doors and motioned that I should sit in the front with her. Laura took the back seat. Georgie put her sunglasses down over her eyes, then started up the engine. She glanced across at me and said, Sally, put your sunglasses on, please. I put the sunglasses on, then glanced down at my knees to make sure they were tight together the way Laura had shown me. Georgie waited until I had smoothed out the hem of my dress before pulling the car out into the road. It was just before 7 o'clock when we put our handbags down in the lounge and sat down to rest our legs. Laura looked a little tired after the exertions of the day. If you girls don't mind, I'm going to have an early night. You remember where everything is, Sally, she said with a yawn. I nodded and managed a very quiet yes. Laura then gave Georgie a hug and followed up with the same show of affection on me. Night, Sally. See you tomorrow. I wished her good night. Laura turned to Georgie and handed her a set of keys from her handbag. You'd better keep these for the week, Georgie. They're spare, so just use them as you need to. Georgie took the keys and wished Laura a restful night. Then she turned to me and I knew business was about to begin. For the first time since I'd met her, she took off her jacket and I noted her body was as fantastic as I had imagined it to be. Even the way she slid off her high heels oozed femininity. Would I ever capture the grace of such actions? Georgie took a palm-top PC from her handbag, switched it on, then started hitting the keypad with the light pen. She spoke as she opened up the computer files. Okay, Sally, let's get down to business. I'm going to give you a quick overview of what the week is going to involve. As you probably guessed, the lunch date was part of my plan. I had to see how you coped in the outside world. I said nothing but simply waited for her to continue. She hit a few more buttons on the handheld PC before continuing. On a scale of 1 to 10, I've awarded you a 6. That allows me to tailor your training to your needs. You might wish to know that my normal score for a first-time girl is a 5, so you've not done too badly. This surprised me, especially after the disaster with the salad. Georgie went back into her large vanity case and removed a document wallet, which she opened on the table before us. I could not make out exactly what was written on the various laminated sheets. She handed me what appeared to be a thick-bound booklet and one of the laminated sheets as she spoke. Now, Sally, this is what we are going to do. First of all, I need you to complete this questionnaire. It will help me, so please be completely honest. You should put down the first answer that agrees most with what you feel. Don't spend half an hour changing your mind. She gave me the booklet, then 2 large laminated cards. My reaction told her I was worried. Don't panic. I'm not a psychologist or anything. We use these tests when we are training young ladies to become flight attendants. The first card she handed me looked like a daily wardrobe planner. The second was a diet sheet. This is your wardrobe for the week. On home days, I've allowed you 3 choices for each day. You can select any of the 3 looks shown on the sheet, and if you need to change for any reason, then you should select the next option on that day. Where I have not given you an option, you can take it that you will be required to go outside, and what is shown on those days is what you must wear. I glanced through the double-sided sheet and noticed that on Wednesday and Friday, Georgie had preference for what I was to put on. The other days I could choose from the options listed. Georgie gave me a couple of minutes to digest the sheet and then spoke once more. The color and cut I leave to you, Sally. It gives you a guide to what to wear. How you wear it will help me judge your progress. And I expect you to choose a suitable handbag in case we have to go out at short notice. The choices for home days were listed under a theme rather than specific items, so if it said girl about town, I assumed something casual would be appropriate. On the other 2 days, she had actually listed exactly what to wear. I began to wonder if I'd seen a red skirt with white polka dots hanging in my wardrobe. When I looked at the diet sheet, I noticed a lot of salad items were included on the sheet. Your diet is equally important, especially in the first few months. I glanced up from the sheet as she walked across the lounge to the television display cabinet. Inside were a load of DVDs and videotapes. Laura has quite a collection of suitable films that I want you to watch during the week. They will help you understand a little bit more of what femininity involves at every level. Some of them are quite good. I could not make out any of the titles, but no doubt I would soon become familiar with them. Georgie sat back down and handed me another sheet of laminated paper. These magazines are the ones you should concentrate on from now on. Tomorrow I'll bring over some back copies, but for tonight you should have a browse through the ones Laura has under the coffee table. As she handed me a list, I noted some of the titles as ones I had purchased before when I wanted to know a little about what women were supposed to be about. They were all the usual high-street glossy fashion mags, and there must have been at least 24 on this list. Georgie tapped in some more keys on the palm-top PC. Then she gave me a final sheet of the laminated paper. This page gives you a list of websites I want you to access this week. They are women's lifestyle sites, virtual makeup studios. Laura said it's okay to use the PC in her room. As I digested the websites, I wondered what exactly they would contain. Georgie started packing some of the paperwork back into the case. With the makeup sites, I want you to scan in your own photo and start experimenting with colors. But don't worry about that just right now. I'll take your photo tomorrow morning, then we can download it later. I was pleased about that, but I still needed to know why I was getting all the attention. I looked at Georgie and decided to bite the bullet. Georgie, why are you all doing this for me? She sat back and said nothing. Then she took my hand and spoke. Oh, Sally. I knew we'd get round to this eventually. Okay, here's how it is. Karen is my older sister. We also had a young brother, Daniel. He should really have been born a girl, but nature dictated otherwise. Karen and I knew from the start that Daniel wanted to be like us. Girls know that sort of thing. We didn't shun him. As he reached his early 20s, he found things very difficult to work out. We did what we could to help him. And, for the first time in his life, he was happy. She paused for a moment as if recalling the past. Anyway, 5 years ago Daniel was killed in a car accident. Karen still hasn't gotten over it. The room he stayed in at her house was Daniel's. All those beautiful clothes were his. That's why they all fitted you. Surely you must have wondered. I felt a little sad and wished I'd never asked the question. But Georgie wanted me to know everything. Karen still buys clothes in that size and keeps them in the wardrobe. She hasn't cleared the room because she's been waiting for someone like you. There have been a few guys in the shop buying clothes before. It's more common than you might think. But when she rang me the other day and told me about you, I could tell by her excitement that she wanted to do for you what she could not complete for Daniel. Again, a short pause. I know you're upset about the photo thing. I told Karen not to take them, but she so wanted you to stay. If you only knew how much we want to help you with this. When she had finished, we both and said nothing until Georgie leaned forward and spoke quietly. That is it, Sally. Don't let Karen's manner put you off. She has to be sure that you really want to do this. It is as important for her as it is for you. You've had a whirlwind introduction, Sally, but we both know you are going to be far happier living as a female than you could ever be as a male. I wanted to hug her and felt so much better now I knew their motivation. I offered an apology for doubting them. I wanted to do it for all of us. I'm sorry for having some doubts, Georgie. In return, she smiled and said, We all do at times. We wouldn't be human if we didn't. Now, tomorrow is makeup day. My previous impression of Karen as being somewhat intimidating was now shot out of the water with the revelations. I decided to fully embrace my once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. All my previous doubts had now vanished. I looked up from the paperwork I had been given. Makeup day? I inquired. Yes, Sally. Tomorrow we are going to spend the day instructing you in the correct application of cosmetics. All day. Georgie got up, closed down the pocket PC, and put it back in her handbag. The document wallet was put back inside the vanity case, and finally she put her jacket back on. From the floor, she picked up the bright coral-colored heels that were the perfect coordinate for her suit. She held them out to me and said, Come on, Sally, show me how you put shoes on a lady. Fortunately, I remembered having to do this a few times on my first day in the shoe department. I took the shoes from her and knelt beside her. Carefully, I lifted her stocking leg just above her ankle, then pushed the shoe gently until her small foot was safely inside. I did the same with the second one, then stood up. Thank you, Sally, you're very good. She lifted the case and the handbag and left me with the parting shot. Remember, I've taken hundreds of young women through makeup and beauty courses, so you can expect me to be quite demanding. All I ask is that you do your best to take in what I'm going to teach you. Her job as a trainer of flight attendants came rushing back to me. From what I had seen of flight attendants, they were required to use quite strong makeup, and a lot of it to boot. She motioned that I should escort her to the front door, then stopped just as she was about to leave. Make sure you have a good cleanse tonight, and don't put on any makeup in the morning. I'll see you about 9 o'clock. And I will expect your questionnaire completed by the time I arrive. Sleep well, Sally. With that, she was gone. I closed the door behind me and locked it using the key that was in the lock. Back in the lounge, I looked down at the items she had left with me. The booklet that contained the questions looked very bulky all of a sudden. I lifted it and noticed there were over 100 questions for me to complete by ticking an option in a box. The first question appeared innocuous enough. Do you carry items in your pockets? With the options, yes, no, or sometimes. I put it on the coffee table with the rest of the forms, then I sat down and undid the clasps on the sandals I'd been wearing and took them off. My feet rejoiced at the relief of pressure. After a moment, I decided to take off the dress, and after a brief struggle trying to get my fingers to locate the back zip fastening, I stood in the lounge wearing only my underwear. I needed to shower and take off the makeup. My major concern was unpinning the fake ponytail without either damaging it or hurting myself. Slowly, I lifted the dress and sandals, and then I picked up all the stuff Georgie had left me and took everything with me back to my room. As I passed by Laura's room, the fact that she had not reappeared surprised me. I thought she would have been out as soon as Georgie had gone. But they were under strict instructions not to interfere in the training. My mind wanted to see if she was still awake. But I decided against interrupting her and went off to remove my makeup and have a shower. Please subscribe for the next part and visit my Patreon page for early access.